Hello everyone, today I want to show you how to make this alternating Picot wire weave, and this is what mine looks like. So this is the effect that you can get. So we have 3 base wires, where as you can see the middle one is wrapped all the time, and the outer ones are just wrapped every now and then, alternating from side to side, so we can achieve this effect. And both sides of this weave are exactly the same, so that's a bonus as well, so there's no front and back really. So if you want to learn how to make this weave, then stay tuned. So what we'll need first of all is 3 of our base wires for this, and I'm using my 1mm thickness here in the gauge. I'm going to use these for the base wires, and then we'll need our weaving wire as well. So what I have is a length of my 0.4mm wire. That's going to be the weaving wire we're going to weave with around the base wires. So what we're going to do first is start with one of our base wires here, and we need to take a length of 0.4mm, the weaving wire as well. And we just need to attach the weaving wire to the base wire. So I'm just going to put towards the end of my weaving wire there, or underneath the base wire. Just leave a bit of a tail that we can hold on to. And then here we need to get ready to start wrapping around. And all I'm going to do to begin with is do a few coils. So I just take my weaving wire and wrap it around my base wire a few times. Just making sure every wrap or coil here that you do lies really nice and close to the previous one. So all your coils are pushed nice and close together. Just keep wrapping. However many you want to do is completely up to you. So what you can then do when you have a few wraps, if they're not completely close together, you can just push them together with your nails or just gently with a pair of pliers. But then I have my weaving wire coming around the top of my base wire and then down behind and pointing downwards here. So now I need to bring in the other 2 base wires. So I'll take the first one, and then this one goes below. It's just where I'm going to start, because we then need to do the first wrapper will go around 2 base wires instead of just the middle one there, instead of just the one. So the weaving wire is coming down behind both of these wires now, below the bottom one, and as you can see we have the wraps on the top one of the 2 here. So what I'm going to do is come below that bottom one and over the top of both of them, like that. And then the weaving wire back down behind them both again, just like that. And then this is where you want to decide how many wraps you want to do. Now what I'm going to do is do 2 wraps every time I wrap around 2 base wires. You can also just do 1, or you can do more. That's completely up to you. But because I'm going to do 2, I'm coming down behind both again. I'm going to go over the top of both of them one more time, just like that. So now my base wires are here, and my weaving wire is coming around the top of the base wire and then towards the back side again. So just like that. The last 2 wraps are around both wires. So we need to go back to weaving around the single one, that's in this case still the top one, the same one that we wrapped around on its own to begin with. So that means we need to come up between the 2 wires here. So up between the 2 that we just wrapped, and then start wrapping around the top one on its own again, so the same one that we did to begin with. So that means now we have to come up between the 2 wires every time we wrap around that. So what I'm going to do is wrap a few times here. How many you want to do is up to you. Now what you can do if you want to keep this weave even is you can count the amount of wraps you do in between each of these little double wraps around 2 base wires. You can count them as you go, or you can just do a few, make sure you don't do too many, and then count them, see how many wraps that you've done, because then you need to know when to do your next double wrap around 2 base wires. So what I'm going to do is, I have I think 3 now. I'm actually going to go and do, it's a 4th and up to 5 I think. It's a nice even number. And then in this case I have my weaving wire coming up towards the top of the 2 base wires there. So we bring in the last base wire, and this one is going above the other ones, just like that. Because then what we need to do now is weave the top 2 together. So the same principle as the bottom 2 that we weave 2 wires together there, both of them. We're just doing it around the top 2. So the weaving wire is coming across the top of both of them. So across the top new wire there that we added in, down behind, and then still up between the two wires that you were just coming up between anyway. So up between the two bottom ones, because then I need to wrap around them two wires again, the same two, and again down behind and up between the same two. And just make sure you push your wraps nice and close together so your weave becomes nice and tight. So that's the second one, but on the other side. So first one was kind of towards the bottom, the way we're looking at it, and the second one we just done is on the other side. So that center wire that's now in the middle here, that's basically being wrapped constantly, whereas the outer ones are just every now and then on each side. So we need to go back to wrapping around that middle wire on its own. So I'll come down between the top two that I just wrapped, and then up again between the bottom two, down between the top two. So basically imagine we're just wrapping around that middle one. We just have the two wires on the side kind of in the way. That's why we have to come up and down in between. Now this is then where you want to, if you want to keep your weave nice and even, you want to count your wraps. Because you then want to do the same amount of wraps here in between where you're going to do your next double wrap as you did between the previous two. So I just want to double check, because I did 5 previously and it looks like I have 4 now. So I just need to do one more up between the bottom two. Just sort your wires out if they get mixed up a bit, and then down between the top two, just how we're holding it here, wrapping around that single wire in the middle. So that's where we're at now. We're now to the next point where I'm going to wrap 2 wires together, and because the last one was on the upper side, is now on the bottom side. So basically every time you do a double wrap around 2 wires, you want to just do it opposite to where you did it previously. So that means I now need to come down behind those 2 bottom wires here, so these 2, up below the bottom one, and then down between the top 2, and again below the 2 bottom ones, and up over the 2 and down between the top 2. So we wrapped around twice on these 2 bottom wires that way. And then to wrap around the middle again, we come up between the 2 wires that we just wrapped, so the bottom 2 in this case, and start doing your single wraps in the middle again. Just like that. And again, this is where I want to do 5 because that's what I've been doing between all the others. You can do the whatever amount you choose to. Also, you don't have to keep them even, that's obviously completely up to you. Depends what kind of look you're going for. But then you do your wraps here in the middle one. When you get to then the point you need to do your next double wrap around 2 base wires, you do it on the opposite side than you just did previously. And you just keep going like that with the weave, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks when it's built up a bit more. So then once you keep going, you can end up with something that looks a bit like this. So we have, like I said, that middle wire gets wrapped the whole time and is covered by the weaving wire, but then you have the outer wires here that just get wrapped every now and then, alternating from side to side, so you can get this really cool effect. So that's how you make this weave. And also what I want to say is both sides are actually the same, so it doesn't matter what side you would then want to use because they both look the same. But that's how you make this. So I really hope that you found this tutorial useful, and thank you very much for watching. Hello there everyone. Today I want to show you how to do this stepped wire weave, and it looks like this. So this is the effect that you can get from it. It's quite a simple and easy wire wrap to do, wire weave. And also it grows quite quickly as well. So if you want to learn how to make this, then keep watching. So what I have here first is just my 2 lengths of 1mm wire, and that's just going to be my base wires here that I'm going to demonstrate with. And then also we have a length of